With Pfizer now on track to seek emergency FDA approval as early as this month, the two-dose vaccine, given 3 weeks apart, is being called one of the biggest medical breakthroughs in a century. The company says it's shown to be 90% effective.
Two of the vaccines, one by Moderna and one by the company Pfizer, have completed trials. With regard to Pfizer, it was 95% efficacious. For the Moderna trial, it was 94.5% efficacious.
This morning, another shot of hope for a nation desperate for an end to the pandemic. Johnson & Johnson saying their vaccine, which requires only one shot, is 72% effective at preventing COVID in the U.S.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real-world data.
The CDC and the FDA have just issued a joint statement recommending a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in the U.S.
That there were 6 instances in women of a serious adverse event. I think the important thing to emphasize is that it is very rare.
This morning, use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine remains at a standstill. A CDC advisory panel looking into those rare cases of blood clots. Several doctors on the panel saying they were not comfortable lifting the pause just yet.
And I think we really have to think of the big picture when we make these types of decisions, because there are cascading negative impacts, and the general public isn't very good at making risk-benefit calculations, and they're going to remember negative headlines and not remember how extremely rare these side effects are.
And we begin tonight with the breaking news on the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine here in the U.S. Late today, a CDC panel recommending lifting the pause and restarting vaccinations here in the U.S.
After 10 days on pause, Johnson & Johnson is back following a handful of serious blood clot cases.
It will now come with a warning about the risk of very rare blood clots.
If you're vaccinated, you don't have a risk, and that's the reason why we say it's as simple as black and white. You're vaccinated, you're safe. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk.
The CDC says more than 4,100 people have been hospitalized or died from COVID-19 despite being fully vaccinated. The agency says these so-called breakthrough cases are rare. It is important to note here that the agency doesn't count all breakthrough cases, and that stopped back in May.
This is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated. The good news is that if you're fully vaccinated, you are protected against severe COVID, hospitalization, and death, and are even protected against the known variants, including the Delta variant.
The headlines, unexpected. 7 vaccinated Stanford students, positive for COVID. 6 vaccinated Texas Democrats, traveling together, positive. And hundreds of Cape Cod residents and vacationers vaccinated but positive. Public health officials agree. If you're fully vaccinated, you almost certainly won't be hospitalized or die from COVID.
According to a CDC internal document, there are now roughly 35,000 breakthrough infections per week. The CDC stopped providing public information on total breakthrough infections in late April when the tally hit 10,000.
Our vaccines are working exceptionally well. They continue to work well for Delta with regard to severe illness and death. They prevent it. But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission.
With celebrities, athletes, and politicians sharing their stories of contracting COVID even after being fully vaccinated, it may seem like so-called breakthrough cases are becoming the norm. Some experts are warning we could see more breakthrough cases in the coming months, partly because vaccine immunity is waning for some.
Should we be thinking about 3 shots now as the standard of care?
For now, if you want to be optimally protected, absolutely get a booster.
Let's talk first about these boosters, right? Who should be getting them and how quickly are they going to be out there?
It is a booster, or it's actually an updated vaccine is what it is. And that we want to get into the cadence and the rhythm of about once per year, get an annual shot, similar somewhat to what we do with the flu shot. As attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.